Jamal Collier, who is covering the Indiana Pacers for us, joins us now. Jamal, that ball, it bounced for 1.33 seconds. It got up to a height of a Kendrick Perkins, 7 feet, before it bounced back into the hoop. It was an incredible moment. But for a guy like Tyrese Haliburton, who thrives on that energy and on the haters, you just released a story on ESPN.com about that, how that wasn't always the case this year. Can you just take us behind the scenes?
Yeah, Malika, Tyrese told me that this was really one of the toughest years of his basketball career. And it starts dating back a year ago. In the conference finals, the Pacers make the run against Boston, and people are sort of questioning off the bat, was this a fluke or not? Haliburton gets hurt, doesn't play those last 2 games in the conference finals. Then he goes into the Olympics and is part of that Team USA in Paris, and he doesn't play. Jason Tatum got the headlines, but Haliburton played even less than Tatum. He was a good sport about it. He acknowledged the jokes online, but those are the kind of things that usually get him going and fuels him. So he was ready to come into this season and really sort of clap back and prove people wrong, that he was better than all the jokes he was getting online. But he didn't have a real proper summer, and he was injured. And the Indiana Pacers got off to a slow start. He did not make the All-Star team. And it's external pressures, those motivators that normally really drive a guy like Haliburton, he said was really starting to weigh on him for the first time in his basketball career. So much so that he was not having fun, and this really started to feel like a job to him. And it was hard for him to show up to work every day early in the season.
Yeah, and that's such a far cry from the Tyrese Haliburton we see having so much fun on the floor. It shows you really never know what someone is going through. When he was posting those sort of things, I was laughing at them, but he said that those things actually embarrassed him when people said those words about him, that making fun of him for not playing on the Olympic team. But fast forward to game 2, and that mindset, it seems like it has completely flipped. How?
And it started by, at the All-Star break, he took just a time away from the game, got out and read, started speaking to some Pacers mental health therapists, and really just, he said he had to be honest with himself and sort of go through it, talk out loud, and just ask for help. And the biggest thing I think that also helped carry him was his teammates and the confidence that they just have in Haliburton. They were sort of reinforcing how much they trust him, how much they wanted the ball in his hands. And that has been sort of what he started to draw his confidence in and his motivation for in this playoffs. He's always going to get jazzed up to trash talk and go back at somebody if he feels like they are sort of doubting him. But the way that this Indiana Pacers team has complete faith in him, the way they trust him in those clutch situations and continue to be rewarded for it, has really started to pay off for Indiana. And Haliburton has really started to enjoy basketball again and recapture that joy that he was missing earlier in the season.
And we saw that joy on full display in Game 1 in Madison Square Garden of these Eastern Conference Finals. Jamal, I texted you this, but I want to say I mean it. This story was excellent. It tapped into a vulnerability that we don't always get to see from players. And truly, you guys, you should go read this because it makes you want to root for Tyrese Haliburton.
Orange and blue sky. Oh boy, here we go. 6'5" Haliburton to the top of the arc. Right elbow. Pulls it back off. Back iron. And in. And in. He got it. I didn't see it. What
That was, oh my gosh, that was an excellent recap, Pods. Come on, curb your enthusiasm. Come on here, Shanae. The reaction from Knicks fans after Haliburton ripped their heart out was absolutely priceless here. But the thing is, the Knicks are going to have a goldfish memory here. They're going to have to bounce back in this series. Perk, how can they do that starting tonight?
They will bounce back. They have the leadership. They have the mental toughness. And we saw when they get embarrassed, they bounce back in great fashion. You go back to looking at last series, they win in the Boston Game 5, and Boston put a smack down on them. Derek White had his shining moment, and then all of a sudden they got back to Game 6 in Madison Square Garden, and we saw the Knicks team in the postseason put on a defensive clinic. That's what they're going to have to do tonight. That's what they will do Jalen Brunson will be better defensively. I believe he will accept the challenge. Him and Karl Anthony Towns, and the Knicks are going to get this win in game 2.
Hold up, wait a minute, Perk. It's time to go shot for shot. Eastern Conference Finals edition on what both teams need to do. Hold up, wait a minute. Ahead
You thought
of
the Knicks were
game
finished?
2. No, they were not finished. Now, typically it's big bro versus little sis, but it's ladies' night, so it's me and Dre. So
Here we
ain't no
are.
cool booty, Perk. All
Relax,
right,
relax.
Drea, you're taking the Pacers. I am taking the Knicks. Take it away, sis.
Yeah, well, listen, when you talk about this Pacers team, they are incredible offensively. So when you're talking about the Knicks defensively, their transition defense has to be better. Not just off of missed shots. The Knicks have to be better in transition defense off of makes. This is a layup by Jalen Brunson, but let me tell you, the Pacers unbothered by made shots. They get the ball, they come right into the offense. Now, OG Anunoby's going to drop off of this drive, which would be fine if Jalen Brunson fights over the top of this ball screen because OG Anunoby is too far away. Jalen Brunson gets hung up, bottom of the net from Aaron Nesmith, could have been an and one, they're right in the game. Same thing here. This is a make from Karl Anthony Towns. Guess what? The Pacers don't care. They get the ball in, they are coming down the floor. Now, the matchups are already messed up because Karl Anthony Towns is on Nesmith. He could go under this screen. Instead, he just melts and points. And OG Anunoby is too far away to contest the shot. Again, both of these makes, the Pacers trying to come back into the game, they're off of made shots by the Knicks. The Knicks have to be better in transition defense. 62 points in game 1 from the Pacers were within the first 10 seconds of the shot clock. So the transition defense for the Knicks, Perk, if you have that much confidence in them, this has to be cleaned up.
But you know what's crazy? The Pacers also spilled the tea a little bit because there's a specific area of emphasis that we took notice of. Thank you, Tyrese Haliburton. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Gotta dominate the Brunson-less minutes. Have to dominate them. Even if it's 4 minutes, dominate 4 minutes.
Well, that did not happen. Actually, if you think about it, the Knicks dominated the Brunson-less minutes. Watch this possession right here. OG is posting up 4 players beyond half court, ready to defend, but instead, because Brunson's not on the floor, OG goes into attack mode. I love that aggressive attack to the basket. But then again, with Brunson on the bench, now you're using OG as a screener, truly as a post player, and you're also using Cat as a shooter. And I loved his 3-point shot because look at this, a beautiful pin-in screen by Mitchell Robinson to use Cat as a 3-point knockdown guy. He had 4 threes, a part of his 35 points, more threes, he made in this series, in this game 1 versus the entire Boston Celtics series. And we're talking about this run, Brunson on the bench. Well, guess what? The Knicks have to keep allowing him to get some rest because they need him as a closer. 17-4 is what they outscored the Pacers in this time.
And that was sort of the glass half full that Brian